The countdown now is inside the 6-minute mark. Everything continuing to go well. With the countdown, the Progress rolled out to its launch pad horizontally on a rail car from the integration facility just a few hundred yards away from the launch pad on Saturday. It was raised hydraulically to its vertical position. Fuel lines and electrical lines were hooked up to the Progress for the final 48 hours of preparations leading to its launch just a few seconds, more than 5 minutes from now. You're looking at the Site 31 launch pad at Baikonur. Once the Progress lifts off, it will be 8 minutes and 45 seconds until it reaches its preliminary orbit for the deployment of its solar arrays and navigational antennas and the start of a 2-day rendezvous to link up to the Pirs docking compartment on the International Space Station on Wednesday. The Pirs compartment was vacated on Saturday in the wee hours on Saturday with the undocking of the 60 Progress resupply vehicle that had been mated to the Pirs docking compartment since July. Just a few hours after the 60 Progress undocked, truss cameras on the International Space Station captured the reentry of the Progress and its breakup in the Earth's atmosphere after its deorbit burn. The Progress fell harmlessly back to Earth, breaking up over the Pacific Ocean. Again, the Pirs docking compartment now vacated, ready to accept the 62 Progress resupply vehicle once it arrives on Wednesday morning. We're just 4 minutes from launch of the Progress 62 resupply craft from Baikonur. Fuel lines and other elements of the rocket engines are being purged with nitrogen to remove vapors of fuel and oxidizer at the time of main engine start. Strip chart recorders in the Launch Control Center, on which telemetry from the launch complex is recorded, are in the process of being activated. An extraordinarily busy time frame for the International Space Station, particularly on the Russian side, with the landing of 3 of the crew members of the International Space Station on December 11th, followed 4 days later by the launch of the Kopra, Peak, and Malenchenko crew from Baikonur from a different launch pad some 25 miles away from Site 31 that you're looking at the moment. The launch of this Progress to be followed by its docking just 2 days from now. The fuel supply to the Soyuz 2.1A booster has now been terminated. The Progress is on internal power, and all systems are in good shape for launch just 2.5 minutes from now. The fuel and oxidizer tanks are currently being pressurized. Once again, this optimizes the flow of fuel and provides the structural rigidity to the launch vehicle as it sits on the pad. We are 2 minutes away from launch. There are 2 ground umbilicals that are flush against the side of the Soyuz booster. They will back away in sequential fashion at about the 30-second mark and about the 12-second mark, at which point the launch command will be issued for the start of the main engine ignition sequence. About 90 seconds until launch. Everything looking good down in Baikonur. Inside 1 minute until launch. The Progress spacecraft on internal power. The auto sequencing start commands about to be issued. Inside 30 seconds. First umbilical has now been retracted. Standing by for main engine start. The main engine start has been initiated. This will be a three-step fashion to bring the turbo pumps on the first stage up to flight speed. 3, 2, 1. And liftoff. Liftoff of the 60-second Progress resupply vehicle from the Baikonur Cosmodrome, headed on a two-day rendezvous to test upgraded systems en route to the International Space Station. All the first stage engines reported to be functioning normally by the blockhouse in Baikonur 40 seconds into the flight. Vehicle stabilization is reported to be normal. About 1 minute into the flight, the Soyuz booster and the Progress resupply vehicle will go through the area of maximum dynamic pressure. Pitch, roll, and yaw, everything looking good on the vehicle. Passing now through maximum dynamic pressure, going supersonic. 1 minute, 18 seconds into the flight. Liftoff time, right on time at 2:44 and 39 seconds a.m. Central Time, 2:44 and 39 seconds p.m. in Baikonur. All first stage engines performing nominally. Yaw, pitch, and roll of the vehicle all reported to be nominal from the blockhouse in Baikonur. First stage separation is now confirmed. The jettison of the 4 strap-on boosters on the Soyuz has been completed. The Soyuz traveling at about 3,400 miles an hour. That's the Soyuz booster with the Progress resupply vehicle on top. Standing by for the jettisoning of the escape tower and the launch shroud around the Progress resupply craft itself. All parameters reported nominal. Good engine performance reported from the blockhouse in Baikonur. This is a view from a balcony camera overlooking the large International Space Station Flight Control Room at the Russian Mission Control Center in Korolyov. Coming up on the 3-minute mark into the flight, this Soyuz booster and the Progress resupply craft traveling some 5,000 miles an hour. All of the structural parameters are normal on the launch vehicle, traveling right down the center line. Second stage thrusters operating normally. About 5 minutes of powered flight remaining for the booster, sending the Progress resupply craft to its preliminary orbit. Coming up on the 4-minute mark into the flight. About 30 seconds left in second stage performance for the Progress resupply vehicle. Atop its Soyuz 2.1A booster. Good control, good stability of the vehicle as it continues to head uphill. Confirmation now received down in Baikonur and by the flight control team in Korolyov of second stage separation. About 3.5 minutes of powered flight remaining. The Progress now flying towards its preliminary orbit on the singular power of the third stage or upper stage engine on the Soyuz 2.1A booster. Third stage engine performance is reported to be nominal. Everything going extremely well so far, almost 6 minutes into the flight of the Progress resupply craft. At the 6-minute mark, everything going by the book. Good reports coming in from the launch controllers in Baikonur. At the time of orbital insertion, the flight will be under the control of the flight control team in Korolyov. You're looking at a live picture from a balcony camera overlooking that cavernous flight control room. Coming up on the 6.5-minute mark into the flight. Third stage performance continues to run as advertised. Third stage shutdown expected at the 8-minute 45-second mark, followed by spacecraft separation and the anticipated deployment of the solar arrays and the navigational antennas on the Progress vehicle. Seven minutes into the flight, everything is nominal, according to the reports being received from Baikonur. As the launch occurred, our two spacewalkers for today, Scott Kelly and Tim Kopra, completed their suit-up procedures. They are in the equipment lock section of the Quest airlock, not monitoring this activity at the moment. They have other things on their mind. They'll be informed of the Progress launch in due course. 7.5 minutes into the flight, about 1 minute and 15 seconds left in powered flight. All structural parameters normal. 1 minute of powered flight remaining. About 30 seconds of powered flight remaining. So far, so good for the Progress atop the third stage of its Soyuz booster. We're standing by now for third stage shutdown and spacecraft separation about 10 seconds or so from now. Third stage shutdown confirmed. We have spacecraft separation confirmed, now standing by for solar array and navigational antenna deploy. And we have confirmation of a good spacecraft separation. All solar arrays and navigational antennas have been deployed. The television camera on the Progress has been activated. A perfect ascent for the Progress 62 cargo craft from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan.